Thank you for joining us today on the show. We're
Yeah,
joined by the one and only shooterweight himself, Yoya. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm great, man. Thank you. Looking forward to speaking with you.
Hey.
You're one of these names I saw pop up on, I think it was Instagram. Must have been about September last year.
Oh,
And
really? That's a while.
yeah, and I was following you from then and thought, this guy seems cool. You've got like this bit of Cobra Kai-ness about you. Like like you've got that. I love the name, the shooter weight for a start. So I thought I
Oh,
want
thank
to
you.
speak to this guy. So very
Awesome.
happy to have you on today. So
Appreciate that.
how have you been, man? Like I know obviously the pandemic going on. Won't
Yeah,
dwell
yeah,
too much on that. I'm sure you've spoken about it a lot.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
you seem like a guy who's been able to keep busy. So how's that
Yeah.
been for you?
It's been well. I don't want to say the pandemic was a good thing. It's not a good thing,
No, I know what you
but
mean.
I think ever since it started, it kind of gave me a little bit more opportunities to wrestle in some way,
Yeah,
So I definitely, I think I've grown a lot more since it started from when I started wrestling prior to that. So it's
sure.
been definitely good, just trying to stay busy, get my name out there, and just show my way of wrestling.
You're doing a great job, man. And
Appreciate it.
like you said, it's not that the pandemic's a good thing, but it has created opportunities for people. And
Yeah,
if there is a silver lining, that's it. Because
yeah,
there's talent which has stood out, which might not have had the chance to before. And a lot of the bigger companies have become a lot more dependent on the independents during the pandemic.
yeah,
Like look at AEW, for example, and
yeah,
AEW
yeah, yeah.
Dark. They're completely, one of their shows is made up completely of independent talent,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
shows how strong the indie scene is right now.
Oh yeah.
And for yourself, you've taken this ball and you're running with it. So you've got some big matches coming up soon. I know we'll get to WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For
One
sure.
thing I'm very excited for is Bloodsport, so we'll get to
Yeah.
that.
Awesome.
But for yourself, like I said, you're one of these shoot wrestlers. You've got your background is legit, just like Janai Kai, absolute badass. Can
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
kick anyone's ass. Yourself, you're from that same background. What came for you first? Was it wrestling or your love for mixed martial arts?
Mixed martial arts came first. I started training when I was in eighth or ninth grade. I was like in between eighth and ninth grade, and I had my first fight in 10th grade. But prior to mixed martial arts, I played football, played baseball, and I also wrestled and everything. So I kind of
Right.
just stayed active from a young age. And then transitioned to this 2 years ago.
Right. So
Yeah.
you've always been an athlete, to say the least.
Mhm.
You've always
Yeah,
been
yeah,
active.
yeah.
Whereas people like me, I get tired running up the stairs, Whereas
I
you
still do.
you've done it all. You've done football, baseball, wrestling, martial arts. What was the transition like from martial arts into wrestling then? Because for some people it's easy and it helps. Some people they find it hard to adapt to the wrestling style. What was it like for you?
For me, it was I don't want to say it was easy. It's never easy transitioning from one thing to another.
Yeah.
But it definitely made it a lot easier from my mixed martial arts days. From when I fought, I relied heavily on my footwork,
Yeah.
and having that emphasis on working on footwork for martial arts, it kind of helped transition into pro wrestling because a lot of pro wrestling in a way is off of footwork, and having clean
Yeah.
footwork. So
Yeah, I've heard that before. It's a lot if you've got good footwork, that's the
yeah,
main thing you need
yeah,
for like running the ropes and stuff like
yep,
that. I can
makes things a
imagine
little
that
bit
would help.
easier. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go.
Oh yeah, so just the way I wrestle, anyways, I kind of do what I did then too,
Right.
so it kind of makes that a little bit easier too.
Yeah, and when your in-ring style in pro wrestling is just the same as martial arts,
Yeah,
I
makes it
imagine that
easy.
that helps.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, One thing I was saying to Janai is, you know, it that style helps you stand out.
Mhm.
It's nobody is really doing exactly what you're doing on the indies right now. There's people who have that tough character, that shoot character, but it is a character sometimes. With you, everything you and Janai Kai are doing, it seems legit, if that makes sense. Like some of the
Appreciate it.
kicks you both throw seem like they don't seem fake in any kind of. I know
Appreciate
I
it.
know it's a dirty word, but
Right, right, right.
they don't seem planned or anything. And I think that's what makes you stand out. Do you feel like that has helped you in the long run?
I think so. I think not to call out like cruiserweights or whatever, but I think people have a connotation of how cruiserweights should
Yeah,
wrestle. and me being 5'2", 118 pounds, I'm really small, you know. So I think having the ability to wrestle in that strong style martial arts type aspect has set me aside from a lot of the cruiserweights.
Yeah.
I think the way that I work as well, I can work with pretty much anyone of any size, you know. That's why on Twitter I've been kind of running with a heavyweight shtick, you know,
Yeah.
because you know,
I've seen
I'm a
your
heavyweight in
exchange
my
with
head.
Chase.
Yeah. I'm a heavyweight in my mind, but I think
I love it.
I'm able to hang with anyone just based off how I wrestle, you know, and I hope that my wrestling kind of shows that to everyone as well, you know.
I'd definitely say it does, man. To be honest, I didn't even know, like, as a fan watching you, did you say you were 5'2", 118?
Yeah.
Because I'd have thought you was about 5'6", 150. Like,
Oh man, that's
honestly,
you're
I
just being
think it's
too
the way
nice
you
now.
wrestle makes the way you present yourself makes you seem bigger than you are, if that makes any sense. And I mean that as a good thing.
Thank you, appreciate it.
But I saw your exchange with Chase Holiday.
Yeah.
He's a guy we've had on the show, lovely guy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know, I saw your
He's okay.
with him. He's a heavyweight, but do you reckon if you was to step in the ring with him anytime soon, you'd you know, humble him a little bit?
Well, I'm wrestling him May 21st.
Right.
Definitely think I'll humble him for sure. I think he'll finally think I'm a heavyweight, you know. He'll know.
Yeah, it seems to think that he can just throw you about, you know, because he's a heavyweight, but I feel like he's going to get a swift kick to the jaw of a reality check.
I'll just put him through a door too, you know.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out.
Hey, we were saying as well, like you know, you can take anyone of any size. That's going to come in really handy when you're at Bloodsport.
Yeah.
And Bloodsport, you know, it's nothing to be taken lightly. I said the same to Janai. As soon as Bloodsport's announced, I always have this list of wrestlers in my head who I want to appear, like a bucket list. One of them was Masha Slamovich, who I feel like
awesome.
Incredible. She's amazing. Janai was one of them, and yourself, because I feel like you three have that toughness about you where going into Bloodsport, it just seems inevitable. So for you, when you got announced for Bloodsport, how did you feel about that?
So, you know, prior I kind of knew I was gonna get on Bloodsport. I just didn't know who I was going against and all that stuff. So I was on a Discord call playing Dead by Daylight with some friends, you know.
Yeah.
And my phone just keeps ringing. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It must be something important, I guess, you know. And then I look, and I started to like backtrack. But a couple months prior to knowing who I was gonna wrestle at Bloodsport, I've always said, if there's one person I want to wrestle in the Indies, if I were ever to get signed, is Leo Rush. And I told Janai that. Yeah, I told Janai that's like, I want Leo Rush, and I want to get on Bloodsport in 2021. Those are the two things I want to do this year. And she can confirm that's for anyone else in there. But I was playing Dead by Daylight. My phone goes off. I'm like, you know, something important must be going on. And I check my phone, and then the picture is me versus Leo Rush at Bloodsport. I was like, what?
No way.
So I'm like, guys, you know, if I die, y'all finish the game. I'm like calling Janai. I'm like hyperventilating. I'm like, this is crazy, you know. But you know, I think it works out personally because I don't want to get ahead, but I've always wanted to wrestle him and see him at Bloodsport because I think most people don't realize he has a shoot background as well.
Right.
Super good at amateur wrestling, you know, and everybody knows Leo Rush as a Leo Rush that we've seen him. And I think this is a cool way of seeing him wrestle in a different aspect.
Definitely. It's not only a big chance for Leo Rush to show the world what he can do in Bloodsport. For yourself, would you say this is your biggest opportunity so far in your career?
Yeah. It's my second year, you know, so I think this is a big step up from. I mean, this year I've always been stepping up, you know, but I think this was another big step in my career, hopefully going forward.
Yeah, very quickly though. Like in 2 years, I mean, I only saw you first like in September, like I said, but even in that time, it seems like you've had, you know, a lot happen in that short period of time in the last few months.
Yeah, I tried. I worked a lot of indie shows around like in Chicago and stuff, you know, just trying to get my name out there. And then pandemic hit, I think not even too shortly after that, right? So
really, you're only, not counting the pandemic, you've only really had one proper year in wrestling.
Yeah, like under a year and a half of wrestling. Yeah.
Which is even more impressive when you put it like that. Like for you and Janai, I mean, I think she said the same. She's only a couple of years in, I believe.
2 years in, yeah. 2 years in, so.
Yeah, so obviously speaking about Janai, I know there's a team, you've got a team name, Yokai.
Yeah.
I think that's a great name anyway. But what's inspired that, and what can we expect to see from that in the future?
Um, we've always, I don't want to say I've always had the idea of tag teaming with her, and I just kind of figured, what was I looking at? I was looking at something. I think I was at Five Below, which is like a store out here which sells things that are $5 and under. And there was a video game that was Yokai. It was named Yokai, and I love Japanese culture, anyways.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, I'm like Yoya, and then Janai. I'm like, oh, Yokai, yeah, that's our tag name now, And I was like, Janai, I don't care what you say, this is our tag name. You can't disagree. And there's Yokai, right? But I think with us, I don't want to be cliche and say, oh, we're an intergender tag team, expect us to be different just because of that. I think I want people to look, or fans and whatnot, just to look at us as a tag team, not an intergender tag team. And the way we wrestle will be innovative, because our tag moves will be martial arts based, of course, strike based. So I think that's what's going to set us apart, and what people should expect is fight from us as a tag team rather than doing what you would usually see as a tag team.
Is there a tag team which you'd love to go up against?
It's quite a lot, actually. I would love to go against Doomfly. I've always wanted to wrestle Eli Everfly, and I think they make a great tag team. I want to wrestle Chase Holiday and Hoodfoot again. That's a rematch I want. I don't like how they did me that match. I was getting beat up all day, so hopefully I can do that rematch there. I think just a couple others. I just can't get them out of my head. I think if I tried to think, we'd be sitting here for a few hours. So.
There's a lot of good tag teams on the right now, man.
Yeah. Oh, and also the main event. Are you familiar with the main event? Jay Lion and Ring Minus. So yeah, it's another one as well. So.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
We mentioned earlier, like AEW Dark, they're doing a lot of good things right now, especially with the addition of Elevation. I think it was last week there was 32 independent talents used over 2 shows. That's mind-blowing, because there's people who have been saying the independent's dead, everyone's been signed. That couldn't be further from the truth. I
don't think so.
For you, is AEW Dark and Elevation somewhere you'd like to head to as well?
If it happens, it happens. I'm not. I don't want to say I'm not in a rush. I think I'm kind of. I don't want to say I'm happy. I'm happy with the path I'm going. With now, You
feel like you've still got some things you want to do first. I'm sure if the opportunity came, you'd be like, yeah, sure. But
of course,
I imagine there's a list of things experiences you want to have first.
Yeah. Like I still want to wrestle on, Game Changer multiple times this year. I still want to, of course, get this Bloodsport thing going, and just wrestle some guys in the indies that I kind of want to wrestle and work at places I want to wrestle, and then if it happens again, it happens. I'm in no rush. I think the biggest thing that I want to do is, because not that I've not hit my goal, but I'm leading towards the goal of doing Bloodsport and wrestling Leo. I think getting on the American New Japan show is like the next step for me, or what I want to do.
Yeah.
Next step for me, But if I could choose a path, that's where I would like to go as well, head towards.
I was just about to say, surely Japan must be
your
list. You mentioned you're a fan of Japanese culture in general, but also martial arts style, that shoot style. That would fit in so well in Japan. So somewhere like New Japan has to be on your radar.
Yeah, I think that's the dream for me. AEW and WWE is great. There's nothing against them. I would love to work for them as well, but New Japan is definitely the first place I'd want to go.
Can you give us any of the dream matches you'd have? Because so many people we speak to, there's always a list of wrestlers in New Japan that want to wrestle. So I'm just curious to see what yours would be.
Naito for sure, because he's actually the one that got me into wrestling. So the way I got into wrestling, just real quick, I watched it as a kid, but I don't want to lie to you and say, I'm a huge fan. I watched it forever. I watched it as a kid. The last match I watched was when Rey Mysterio beat Batista for the belt,
right,
heavyweight belt. And that was the last thing I watched. But then coming back, New Japan did a show at CEO, which is a fighting game tournament.
Yeah, I've spoken to Coach Billy. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So they were there and I was there. That was my very first live event. I saw Naito. I was like, holy crap, this guy's pretty sick, so chill. So him for sure, because he's the one that got me into wrestling. Of course, Okada and Ishimori for sure.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's a hell of a list, man.
Yeah. One day, we'll see.
One day, that's the
Yeah.
attitude. One day it'll happen.
One
And
day.
you're only young as well, aren't you? Like
24. Yeah.
24. I'm
No,
32.
25 this year. 25 this year. I'm getting old. Getting
So-
over the hump.
So it's frustrating when I speak to people like yourself who are so young. You've got your whole career ahead of you, and I'm 32, sat behind a microphone. But like, but yeah, man, if you keep that mentality, I'm sure those matches will happen. The match with Leo is just that first step into making that happen. I can't think of many people 2 years into indie, or well, like you said, a year and a half into independent wrestling, who have had these opportunities come so quickly. So you must be doing something right. And I feel
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely are. You're one of these people on Twitter who you always know if someone's doing something right because you see the tweets pop up more often than not. And I know that's a really bad way to judge things. Social media shouldn't be a way of measuring, but it unfortunately is. And with yourself, I'm always seeing tweets from Yoya or people retweeting you everywhere. So
Yeah. I think the food thing helped out a lot too.
Yeah.
The unfinished food. I don't think anybody likes me anymore.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
Stop people speaking. That's the main.
Yeah. Screw them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Obviously, you said like you're only 2 years in, and you've only been in for a year and a half, really. For you, where did you start training, and what was your training procedure like? Was it different to the usual training?
Not really. I mean, I trained in Orlando, and I trained with Eric Lockhart and Andrew Lockhart as like kind of like the guys who kind of mainly trained me in the beginning.
Yeah.
They were trained from Booker T school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I trained under them for a bit, and then I'm trying to like word this. I don't want. I trained under Cedric a little bit as well, and I was there for a couple months, and then I got released to work from the owner.
Right.
And continued my training there under Eric Lockhart, and then I moved up here to DC shortly after. I think like a year after, and then now I'm training when I can because there's nothing really in the DC area immediately close to us. So we try to, me and Janai and I, we go to Cheeseburger School up in PA when we can, or Pennsylvania when we can. Yeah.
Yeah, Cheeseburger. He's a hell of a trainer, isn't he? So many.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
What was it like for you? When you first started training with Cheeseburger? Did he open your eyes to anything different, or?
Yeah, I think like it's always good to train in other schools, in my opinion. So we try to, when we go to shows in Chicago, we'll try to train there at some schools, So, but I think going to Cheeseburgers in particular, it's opened our eyes a lot because again, there are a whole bunch of different styles, and what he's done, he's kind of seen it all,
Yeah.
So it's really cool to be able to ask somebody a question and get an answer that's like, hey, that's a pretty detailed answer for everything that we've asked,
Yeah.
So CB he's awesome. He's one of the best.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys as well who, like, I know at some schools the trainers are like 6'5", 300 pounds. Cheeseburger's a smaller guy, so you're gonna learn how to wrestle that smaller guy style, but still, I'm sure that was helpful for yourself. Like, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like if a Rey Mysterio owned their training school, that would be the coolest school to go to.
Yeah, for sure.
How did that help you? Did he teach you anything in that sense?
I think he's helped me out with a lot of ways of implementing what I want to do.
Yeah.
For guys that are larger than me, because at the end of the day, I'd say I'm a heavyweight, blah, right? But I am 5'2", 118 pounds, So he's definitely given me some tools and some ideas on how I can implement what I want to do in a more creative way too. Because I do want to do martial arts, but I also love kung fu movies and all that. So I still want to be as creative as possible, So.
Yeah, you do still compete in martial arts, don't you?
Yeah, I still train and everything now. I just had a jiu-jitsu tournament. I think it was last month or 2 months ago. Time flies. Yeah. It was a couple months ago.
So you're one of those dual sport athletes now, then, like Bobby Lashley. When he did both, you're one of those people.
Yeah,
for wrestling and martial arts.
Yeah, I'm bigger though, so
yeah.
Keep that in mind. Yeah. Bigger.
That must be a challenge doing two sports like that.
It's okay, I think. Not having a school near me, it helps. because it's not pro wrestling per se, but I think pro wrestling is a martial art, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
No, I
And
agree.
what we do, like warm-up wise and all that stuff, it all transitions to pro wrestling. Pro wrestling transitions to martial arts, anyways. So it kind of balances out for me.
Pro wrestling's still a discipline, isn't it? You've got to be.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's stuff you got to learn. You still
Yeah.
got to learn how to strike. You got to learn how to grapple. It's a martial art, in my opinion. And
I completely agree.
Yeah.
It gets a hard time because people always say, "Oh, it's not a sport." It is a sport.
It's a sport. Yeah, you have to train. You got to work out. And if you don't know how to grapple or strike, you're gonna look kind of stupid.
Yeah, people will realize if you can't actually wrestle, won't they?
Yeah. You can't wrestle. Especially nowadays in 2021, they'll let you know.
Yeah, because it's all about as unfortunately some of the smacks say, the work rate, and people are very observant of that now. Not so much as they used to be.
And that's not a bad thing though, because I think for us as wrestlers, it makes wrestlers work harder and become better wrestlers, because you don't want to get railed for a whole week saying, "Oh, this guy sucks," whatever.
Yeah.
So it all makes us work a lot harder, and that's a good thing in my opinion. I know some, hate it. I don't mind it. And again, I've only been doing it for 2 years, a year and a half, so it's what I know, so I have no issue with it.
Well, obviously we've got Bloodsport coming up. That's going to be awesome. Do you have anything else planned for WrestleMania weekend, or are you going to be available that week to wrestle?
Yeah, I'm going to be available. I do have other stuff, but I think I'm going to leave that as it comes out,
Yeah.
So some good stuff though, I will say. So
you're looking forward to it then, because it's your first one, isn't it? Your first Mania weekend.
Yeah, it's Nana's first Mania weekend. I think it's pretty cool that we're able to be on the same show as a couple.
Yeah.
On Bloodsport too. I thought that was so cool. But it's both of our first Mania week ever, so excited.
Yeah.
I think it's a good first one. Yeah, I hope so, and I think it's a good start.
Yeah, I again, getting your first Mania weekend 2 years into the business, that's another,
it's great.
Not many people get to say that, so congrats on that, man.
Appreciate it.
Before we start to wrap up, obviously we spoke about the Mania weekend shows, but what else do you have coming up soon, and is there anything else you'd like to promote?
I don't know if I can promote the stuff that I have coming soon, so I'm gonna
leave that one.
Yeah, but it's nothing. Sorry, I know. I'm so boring, right? But it's all gonna be really good stuff, though. I think you guys will be seeing that sometime this week or next week. So
yeah.
I wish I could promote something. Do
you have any merchandise?
I do, yes. So pre-order for Yokai shirts are out right now on my Twitter. You can DM me, and I will send that to you in a Yokai wristband as well for free.
Awesome. I think
$20.
Yeah. $20.
Yeah, $20.
Just made a sale.
I appreciate it. Awesome.
I'll be in touch with that, man. Definitely.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I'll love that. Any excuse to buy more wrestling merchandise, I'll always take it. So.
Yeah, appreciate you.
But yeah, where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, so Twitter, I'm at the only Yoya. It'll say heavyweight. It's me. Instagram is Yoya the Grappler, and on Twitch, I'm starting to get back into streaming. It's at the only Yoya as well. No, I am Yoya. So
I am Yoya.
I hope you guys listen because it's not all the same, and I wish it was.
I'll put the links in the description anyway.
Yeah, appreciate you.
No worries, dude. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. I've been so keen to speak with you because I really do, not just saying this because you're on the show, I really do feel like you're a star in the making.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hopefully get you back on again after WrestleMania weekend and discuss what that was like for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Until then, Yoya, we've been Ringsiders. We'll see you next time.
Yep, just have me on. See ya.